Okay, guys, Fozzie, I'm back again, and this is a brand new sector, or a section, or a subsection, or whatever you want to call it, of this channel, and it's called The Road to Financial Freedom. It was a big part of what I wanted to do. So, as well as the traveling things and being location free within the world, I also want to obviously be financially free, which I know is a huge goal for a lot of people. I'm not some kind of guru. I am not some kind of like crazy person that's going to tell you you can go 0 to 1 million in 5 days. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that. It's simply just a few basic steps that I'm going to follow, and I'm going to show you systematically exactly how I do it from day one. I'm going to work so hard that it's basically impossible to fail, and hopefully somewhere along the line I can inspire some of you guys to do the same kind of thing. And there's a hell of a lot of goals that I've got. I'm not oversaturating myself too much with that. It's about being specific. But I've got a first target by the end of this year. Let's just say I'm on zero now, because I get a little bit of money, but it's nothing. It just gets swallowed up by my bills and my outgoings. I'm basically on nothing, and this is about turning that into £5,000 a month, an achievable goal. I've earned £5,000 in a month before, multiple times in my life, so I know how possible it actually is. I did it when I worked for a previous tech and telecoms company, and I did it for a home improvement company, but that was working for somebody else, and it wasn't consistent. I want to do it for myself consistently and keep building. And this is all about business. So if you are wanting to do something similar to this, and you don't really get along with the gurus and the different people, and you're just thinking, God, everyone's saying the same thing, they aren't like me. I just want someone who's simple, down to earth, normal guy who's probably not had all the best cards in life, and he might be relatively similar to me. I'll show you what to do, because I am very, very convinced that this is going to work and it is going to do well. So that's a bit of an intro basically, and this is just my introduction. I'm not going to cut this or try and do any fancy editing or anything, not at this stage, and definitely not for this part of the channel. I might just cut out some bits that are dragging on for a little bit, and over time we will make this set better. We certainly will make. That's just me dog. Sorry. We will make this set better. We'll get some lighting. We'll make it better. We'll probably have a backlight. I'll probably decorate this a little bit better. Get rid of my clothes, which are in the shot. I know that cinematically, this isn't the way that the majority of high quality YouTube videos are going to look, but that's not why I'm here, because I want to show you me starting from day one. There's other elements of the channel which are building at the same time. This section is the road to financial freedom. So if you want to be on the road to financial freedom, you want to do this with me, then I'm going to show you my first steps, and maybe it'll give you a bit of inspiration as to where you want to go with it. So, okay, so I've done a lot of research from some of the gurus that are out there, but also done my own research as to what your general starting places are. And the first part of it is probably the most difficult. So the first part of it, step one, is you've got to really understand what it is that's holding you back. So if you are in a situation like me, for example, where you're really driven and you really want to achieve huge things, but you just always find yourself in a cycle and you keep falling back into these same things, or you'll do really, really well. This is my thing, what I always do. I do really, really well for 3 or 4 months or 6 months, absolutely smash it like a demon, and then I'll get really, really good at something, and then it'll just drop off because I'll feel so elated and so happy and so great that this has actually happened, and then I'll feel so good that I'll enjoy that time too much, and then I'll fall back to where I was before, and relationships will fall apart and different things like that, and it's just it's a bit of a minefield when that happens. So the first thing what I'm going to do, and this is literally step one, is understand and get very, very familiar with what's holding me back. Now, this will be different for everybody, and I swear to God, I am no saint. I really am not a saint, and you're going to get to know me too much now, if anything, but I'm going to be so honest, because that is essentially what this is all about. And if I start lying to you guys, you're not going to think I'm authentic, and to be honest, everyone pretty much knows what I'm like. I am an absolute nightmare, but that is all going to change, and it's because I fall back into these traits, and I've just I'm just going to be honest with you, and then you can make your judgment on me, because maybe you'll just commend me for being honest, or maybe you'll think this guy is just nothing like me and is the scum of the earth, so I'm not listening to him anymore. But yeah, okay, so I've got 20 things on this list. So like I say, I'm no saint. And there's a lot of things that I do which are really detrimental. Do you know what? When I wrote this list, there's 20 things in this list. And when I wrote it, I thought, I must be just so dumb and to even think that I could get any kind of financial success when I'm jumping in and out of 20 bad habits. So yeah, so what is holding me back? Number one, alcohol. And I will be so honest with you, I've had a pretty bad relationship with alcohol for, I would say, since I was 16, 17, and it's not been great. It's actually really, really negative aspect of my life. I was brought up around it, you know, families and different things. It's just always been a part of my life. Always been in pubs when I was younger. Still go to pubs as recently as last week, and it's about time that changed. And the amount of money, honestly, I talk about financial freedom, the amount of money that I've blown on alcohol. That could be drinking in, it could be parties, it could just be the odd thing here and there, an odd bottle of Jack Daniels, which I've got stacked up there, which will be going in the bin. And or pubs. I'm so terrible at pubs and nights out, because sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'll check my banking app, and there's pubs what I don't even remember going to. So I've literally not even benefited from it in any way whatsoever. I don't even remember the good time that I was apparently having. And my memory is just terrible. And it's just money that I'm just wasting and throwing down the drain. And if I would have invested all the money I've spent on alcohol in the last 15 to 16 years or something like that, I would be rich. I genuinely would be. So, first of all, it's about cutting that out. And it's not going to be easy, but to be honest, if I ever want to get anywhere or achieve anything in my life, I'm not doing this for anybody else. It's for me, and I think I'm going to cut that out. And maybe one day, when I get to my first million, or I'm consistently hitting 10k a month, maybe I'll have like one Jack Daniels or one glass of champagne. But maybe I won't even want it by then. I probably won't, because I need to start getting addicted to success, not addicted to these things that are holding me back. So, alcohol, gotta go. Right. And you probably feel the same. Do you know what? It's so easy to tell yourself, oh yeah, but I deserve it. Or, oh yeah, well, all the boys are going down the pub and then we're going to have a game of pool and then, oh, buddy's Jim's birthday or something. You just always make excuses for it. And I'm sick of it. And you wake up, but then you don't just lose your money that night, the time you could be investing. Your brain turns to mush the next day, and even sometimes the next day after that. I can't think straight. I'm not being proactive. I'm not being productive. And so these days, especially since I hit 30, I don't just lose the money and the night. I lose like 3 days. And that has really got to change for me personally. Your list might be different, but that has got to change for me. Another one, smoking. So once again, the amount of money, and not only has it been massively detrimental to my health, sometimes it's just really hard to get acquainted with this list, and admitting to these things is the hardest part. And this is why so many people get stuck. And if you are the same as me, admit them to yourself, and I swear to God, I feel better already. But smoking, I must spend God knows how much. I used to spend silly amounts on packets of cigarettes, packs of tobacco, Rizzlers, filters, whatever else, and smoking dirty roll-ups. You always stink and different things like that. It's bad for your skin, it's bad for your health. You can potentially get cancer. I mean, there's people in my family with cancer, and I'm there smoking like I've just got like a free ride or a free train ticket, as if it's not going to affect me. I just must be an idiot. But it's not just that, it's the money. It's not cool, doesn't look good, doesn't smell good. Any girl who's worth having, like a future wife, is probably not going to smoke anyway, and she'll probably think it smells disgusting, tastes disgusting, won't want to kiss you. Plus, nowadays you have to go outside to smoke, and it's not sociable. It's not even sociable anymore. And the people who are out there smoking probably aren't even the people that you want to be talking to anyway, because they're not on the right fitness journey, and they're probably not on the right financial journey. I think maybe I'll have a cigar to celebrate when I get somewhere, because I do like a bit of a cigar, but just for the nostalgia, like you feel like you've earned a cigar. But I don't know, buddy. It definitely won't be until I've hit this whole goal that we're going to talk about today. But I don't know. Look, I'm already making excuses for when I'm going to do it again. This is the traps that you fall into, and this is what's so bad. This is what's ingrained in our mind, and I think that's part of being human. And I think the people who do get success are the people that they don't do this shit. Like, and if they are doing it, they're doing it at the right time. Like, if you're a famous musician, like fucking Post Malone or something, and you're into all your drugs and drinking alcohol and smoking and everything else like that, it doesn't matter. Like, you make music for a living. As long as your voice doesn't completely go, you're all right. And I've been in the music industry probably for the last 15 years or so, maybe a little bit less. And it doesn't help you in that industry either. It really doesn't. I would say I had a bit of a difficult run, but to be honest, these things here on this list were holding me back on that as well. Drugs. Now, I'm not massive on them at the minute. I have done them in the past. I'll be genuinely honest with you. If you're the police, sorry. But I have done them, and I've dabbled in the past 2.5 years or so. It has been extremely what shall I say, like social. Go out, night out, tiny little dabble, then you come out. When I was younger, I used to smoke cannabis quite a lot. I completely cut that out years and years ago, and now if I had like a drag, I'd be gone. I don't do that anymore. But I have had a relationship with drugs, and I'll be completely honest with you, because if I'm not honest about this, then what am I ever going to really achieve? And if I'm going to inspire someone who's anything like me, then I've got to be honest. And I'm sure there is people who are watching this right now. It might not be you. You might have never done one in your life, but there's probably something different what's holding you back. And I tell you what, do you know how expensive drugs are? Like, wow. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous, and everyone will have their own outlets and their own ways of dealing with pain. That's another thing that is just a joke. Like, we always blame something else, but I'm going to come to that anyway. But yeah, don't do them. Simple as that. I've got a son. Like, what if I had a fentanyl overdose or something? You know what I mean? It is not worth it, and I'm not going to do it. 100%. So if ever anyone sees me doing anything after this video is released, just fucking punch me in the face or something, because it's not going to happen. Okay, number 4, lack of reading. So what is holding me back? A lack of reading. And I think this definitely... So I watched a video about an entrepreneur, from an entrepreneur who's a really successful entrepreneur, and he said he knew a guy. You might watch the video, I don't know, but he knew a guy who says, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm really struggling in business, I want to scale my business from X to Y, and I don't know how to do it. And then he says, well, have you read any books from famous entrepreneurs? No. Have you listened to any podcasts? Have you watched anything on YouTube? Have you tried to educate yourself or anything like that? And I assume if you're watching this video right now that you are either trying to educate yourself, or you know me personally and you're just going to see what I'm going to ramble on about. But yeah, or you're just trying to get to see me admit all the things that I've done terrible in my life. But you know what? I'm at peace with the bad things I've done, and that's kind of the best place that you can be. But yeah, lack of reading. So I've actually taken action on this, and action is something that is really important. We are going to come to that, because you can watch as many YouTube videos as you want, but if you don't take any action, you're still not going to get anywhere. You'll just get saturated knowledge, but still no skill. Which we're going to go into. So I just noticed I went, and I've probably done that quite a few times. So as we get better and better, and as we go through these videos and I become more used to seeing this camera and talking to you guys, we'll cut that out, because obviously that's a skill in itself, isn't it? To talk eloquently and be able to speak with the correct vocabulary. Probably not the right time to say this, but I'd say I've generally got a pretty good vocabulary, and I can speak in front of people. It's just so much harder when you're talking to a camera. I'm going to work on that though. But yeah, I'm going to read more. And I've actually taken action, and I've brought the first book, which was recommended to me. I brought it on eBay. Yeah, so it was the most recommended one from people who have been extremely successful, and it's called The Millionaire Fast Lane. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to make sure that I dedicate 20, 30, however many minutes I've got, whenever I'm not doing the things that are in my very, very busy schedule that you'll see soon. Whenever I'm not doing that, I'm going to be reading. And sometimes if you listen to an audiobook, it doesn't really go in, I've listened to quite a few audiobooks, and I can't remember anything what any of them said. So you're not learning, are you? I think reading something is really, really important. So The Millionaire Fast Lane will be the first book that I'll read. And it's not necessarily just about becoming a millionaire. It's just about trade secrets, mapping out, creating a business and starting from essentially scratch. And just, I'll tell you more about that and maybe read you a few bits of it as we approach it and tell you exactly what I'm going to take from that. But definitely reading. I'm not much of a reader. I find it so hard to focus, but focus is part of this, and I think our focus is constantly being taken away by social media and distractions and different things like that, isn't it? So it's about combating that. Nobody successful lets themselves get distracted. Number 5, distractions. So there you go. So now we've got your phone buzzes. Have you any of you guys noticed? I don't know if your phones do this, but whenever I'm sitting on my phone just doing a general thing, I put my phone down and just crack on and try and focus on this, and in about 3 seconds my phone vibrates and buzzes there, and then you're like, oh, and then you go up to it and it's like, what on earth is happening? Then you pick it back up and then you get distracted again. And the apps, they do this on purpose. So turning off notifications, different things like that is going to help. Or just lock your phone over there until you've focused on the task that you need to be doing, and then come back and check it in your own time when it's convenient for you. I think is really, really important. Don't let other people distract you. If it's family, if it's friends, if somebody rings you, "Hi mate, I'm just working, I'm just busy, I'll ring you back when I've got time." No problem. There's nothing unpolite about that. You're not missing out on anything, and especially not if it involves any of the first 3 things that were on that list. Okay, number 6, laziness and bed rot. So this is probably something that everyone is a little bit guilty for, unless you're already successful, whereas if you are, I highly doubt you're watching this video. but yeah, laziness and bed rot. So this really ties in with number 1, which is alcohol. So I'm terrible for this because, especially previously, like back in the day when I used to take it way too far with drinking, you drink and then you come home, you pass out, you can't remember getting home, and then the next day you wake up, anything you've got to do pretty much gets put off or gets done with an absolute minimal effort. And then I'll just lie in bed, scroll Facebook all day, Instagram, whatever. I'm not even watching things to learn, advance my skills or anything. Something crap will be on Netflix in the background. Before you know it, you've lost a complete 24 hours, which is probably just... and then that can turn to 48 depending on how bad it was. So yeah, that's got to go. And that it's about doing what needs to be done, isn't it? So lying in bed, especially for a whole day, and feeling like you need to change your bed sheets after, is just disgusting and not good enough, is it? Okay, number 7, routine and calendar. This is a big one, so let me show you this. So here you'll see that I've actually started setting this up yesterday. So to be in a good routine and, you know, get up at the right time, do what you need to do at the right time, and also set yourself clear goals and actually fill your time, so you're being productive throughout the day. And you'll actually see Friday here. You can see that if you scroll down, I've literally done pretty much everything that I set out to do today, which is good for me. And to be honest, I've probably done more in that one day today because I actually set myself a task and set myself an actual idea of how long it was going to take me, how long each task would take, and basically make a clear plan. There's literally 2 things. Oh no, I've done that now. So look, that can go into green because I'm literally talking to you about that now. There's only two things I haven't done, which is I put self-care, which I have been to the gym, so technically that's self-care, but I was thinking about, trying to do something a bit better, maybe a bit of a skin routine or something. There's nothing wrong with looking good. Just, it doesn't make you any less of a man to put on a bit of moisturiser or something like that, But I've had a shower. That's technically self-care, isn't it? And to be honest, I have looked after myself today. I've drank a lot of water, so I think you'll notice that these kind of off-green ones are the kind of like off-shade green ones are the ones that I did, but I probably could have put more into it or done a little bit more effort, or it could have gone better. You know what I mean? So just to fathom that, now normally, say yesterday, for example, when I wasn't really thinking about this, I didn't achieve anywhere near as. I don't even think I achieved anything yesterday, and it's just because I wasn't in the mind frame. I wasn't thinking of the right things. But like I say, this is episode 1. This is day 1, so that is never ever going to happen again. I'm just telling you essentially what my downfalls are. But here I'm setting up a clear thing. So the earliest I'll get up is probably 7, unless I really need to, or I've got a flight somewhere. I'm not really going to get up before 7. You might do it. I won't be doing it, because I'd rather go bed later and get up a bit later, because my brain just works a lot better on that time scale. I think it's actually like, your circadian rhythm. I don't know if you know anything about this, but when you go out in the sun, your circadian rhythm is set, and there's 2 different kinds of people, and humans evolved in a specific way for us to be able to do this. So some people are morning people and some people are afternoon people, but this is actually by design. It's so that if back in the day when there was clans or villages, if someone was going to come and attack the village, there's always got to be somebody who's awake, isn't there, to protect it. And it's actually human evolution, believe it or not. I've seen that. Don't know if you've heard that. Yeah, so just today, for example, woke up, hydrated, make sure I drank water, drank coffee, because I like coffee, but with no sugar in it as well, no milk in it either, just black coffee, boom, which is a lot better for you. Made my bed, good thing to do in the morning. So these are just mundane things, which you probably do a lot of these, but I might just forget 5 of them or something, and it's just to remind myself to do it. Getting dressed in the morning. So how many people just sit around in the pajamas for a couple of hours and then wonder why they haven't made any money or done anything significant with the day? Opening curtains, things like that. People talk to me about this stuff all the time, and you just think, oh, it's not important. But when you add all these things up, it bloody does get important. Having a wash, brushing your teeth, opening your curtains. There's a couple of things I need to do for one of my remote jobs that I've got. Call a few leads, clean the room and the desk area. So I spend most of my time at my desk area these days, because I'm always trying to work or conjure something up. So got to make sure it's clean, because if it's not, your thoughts won't be clean, and your attitude and your execution won't be clean either. Household chores, whatever, do washing, make sure you got clean clothes, make sure you look good. I mean, I'm not the best looking person, but I'd say I look better than usual, because I've been looking after myself today. So, okay, watched at least one video and learn. Always good to educate yourself. Arrange Bobby, that didn't happen today, but I can sort something else out. It's not that I didn't do it, it's just something went wrong. So yeah, a couple of calls for work, restring my guitar. It's been something I've been putting off literally for weeks, and it's just as simple as restringing my guitar. I used to run a guitar shop, and I can literally do the whole thing, the whole setup and everything, set the bridge, action, everything, in literally like 20 minutes if I really want to, and I don't think it took much longer than that, and I know how to do it to a good standard. And yeah, I just I've been putting it off because the strings were there today, so I just did it. It's done, it's out of the way. Yeah, a couple of calls, have a shave. Yeah, like you'd think, why do I have to remind myself to have a shave? But it's just like, just this little bit under here. When that gets scraggly, I haven't got the best beard in the world, but when that gets scraggly, you feel scraggly, you look scraggly, you don't look well presented or anything like that. Go to the gym. I didn't do much at the gym. I've got to do a lot of work on that, as you can see. I'm a bit skinny fat, but yeah, I just did some like barbell curls on the chest, up, down, a couple of squats, 3 sets of 15 on the barbell, 3 sets of 15 on the squats, and then pull down bar, full extensions, simple as that. first day, I'm going to go every single day, so I didn't want to smash it off too much on the first day, so I can't go tomorrow. I'm going to build gradually as I go. And then start working on specific muscle groups and doing more cardio, and especially with the stopping smoking. Got myself one of these, which is a vape. Could go cold turkey, but if I try and go cold turkey, I'll want a cigarette. At least this will take the craving away. Don't know if I'll get demonetized for that, but we'll see when we finally get there. And that's it. Shower, self-care, call for one of the customers that I've been working on this remote job. It's a commission-only job, and it's just part of trying to get where I want to be. Not massively lucrative at the minute, but hopefully it will be soon. Looked for the best possible business book and ordered it, so I did my research and I got that one that I spoke about earlier. Did more research on business. Make sure you eat food, obviously massively important. Do research on business, financial freedom, and get content for the first step, level 1. So I did all my research for this video, so I've actually got something to say to you. I am pretty much freestyling off the top of my head. I don't really want to be the kind of person. I will cut out like the bits that are dragging on or something like that, but I want to show my personality, and I want to show that I'm actually a real person, and I'm starting with nothing. And if you're starting with nothing as well, or you're in a mundane dead-end job that you're not enjoying and you're only earning what you're paying out, you can follow my journey with me, and hopefully we'll get somewhere together. And maybe you'll message me in 6 months time and say, do you know what, Grant, I started this when you started it, and I'm on 10k a month now, every single month, the same as you. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I won't get to 10k a month, but I tell you what, if I try my absolute best, the first milestone's 5k, by the way, we're not overdoing it, but if I try my absolute best every single day, structure everything, make sure that I don't waste any time, that's doable. Do you know what I mean? If I go sleep at 12 every day, well, it's actually 22 minutes past 12 now, because today I've smashed it, and I've got the motivation, which I will always take when I can. But if I fill my day every day with things that are gonna absolutely benefit me, there's just no possible way I can fail. I've never there's a guy that I like, a creator, and he says, I have never ever seen anyone genuinely try their best every single day and fail. It's impossible. It is not possible. It's the law of attraction. The only way you could possibly fail is if you try your best at all the wrong things, which I'm not going to do, because I'm going to be researching every single day on what I should be doing. So it's just like, that's it. I keep saying that's it. I noticed that as well. We'll try and sort these mannerisms out. Okay, and then here we are. This is the final thing I had to do. Write a plan for episode 1, the road to financial freedom. And you'll notice that I've actually got, for tomorrow, we're on Friday night now, record the video. So I'm actually doing tomorrow's work as well at the minute now. But I'm not going to burn out. I'm not saying burn out, right? But I'm also not saying that a 2-hour thing here between 9 and 11, I'm going to sit on my phone and do nothing and scroll TikTok or something. I don't use TikTok really, but I've tried to get around it as a creator, but I just don't understand it. It's hard. Even so, a 12-year-old can use it just fine and have 1 million followers, but I struggle for some reason. Maybe I'll get better at the whole social media thing, but I think that once I get to a certain level of wealth, social media management is 100% something that I'm going to delegate. So out to other people and pay them, obviously. But or if you're in a similar situation to me right now and you want to jump on this train with me, and you are into social media management and marketing and different things like that, please reach out to me or drop me a comment in the comments below. Actually, now's probably a good time to say that if you've got this far in this video, because we're about half an hour in or so, it might be slightly cut down from when I actually edit this, but if you've got this far in the video, I just want to ask you, please, I'm not begging you, you know what I mean, but please subscribe, because you'll get a notification obviously when I do a new video. You can tick your bell icon, whatever else, or just comment and interact with us and speak to us and tell me what you genuinely think. Maybe you'll say, I've had this before, and I've done it before, and people have been right about me before, and they'll say, "Yeah, see you in the pub next week, mate." And it hasn't always been the next week, but I always fall back into the same trap, and I'm laughing at myself because I wonder why I'm not successful. And it's not about what you say you're gonna do; it's about what you do, and it's about action. And I'm kind of holding myself to rights here, because if I don't do any of this video is going to be on YouTube forever, because I won't be deleting it, and I will come back and I will watch it. Even if I even think about going out for a few pints, or I think about not doing what I should be doing, then I'm going to just watch this back and say, you know what, you wanted different things last week. Now when Billy Joel's going out for a bloody pint, you're thinking of changing your mind. No, we got work to do. And that's why I'm going to make my schedule so full and so busy. I don't need to rest. And I don't need fun, to be honest. I don't need to rest. I don't need fun. I don't need to waste my time with relationships that I don't really value or enjoy. Company that I don't necessarily even like. You know, people just hold you back, don't they? But not everyone. Some people really benefit my life. But it is what it is. And that's that. So obviously these ones are blank, because you'll notice at the bottom between 11 and 12 I plan the next day, to make sure that when I wake up I've got a dead set schedule of exactly what I'm doing. I do have responsibilities which will have to be in there, but like, it gets me when like you've got to go somewhere and do something, and then you delegate your whole day. No, not delegate, you know what I mean. You give your whole day to do it, because you've got 2 hours to wait before you go there, and then you got to go do the thing, and then you're going to have to eat, and then you've got 2 hours until you get back, and then it's something, and then your day's gone. But my days of doing that are over. I'm going to get regimented with this, and my schedule is going to be tight. And if I've got something to do, or if someone's dragging on, I'm going to have to be like, mate, I'm sorry, or James, or Jim, or Claire, whoever it might be, I'm sorry, but I'm busy and I've got a schedule. Because I highly doubt that Steve Jobs or any of the most successful people that have ever lived in this world are messing about with things that don't value them or actually help them or their family achieve anything. They're not doing it, are they? You know what I mean? They would not be where they are. So yeah, I'm not going to wait around for anyone. So the things in green are the things I've done, and then there's quite a few bits that I need to do here. Okay, let's get back to the list. So routine and calendar, I'm massively improving on it, and I've tried things like that before, but it's about getting it up every single day and sticking to it every day, which is about discipline, and that's just part of the routine, is to set the routine. If you can't do that, I cannot expect myself to ever be successful, and I'm just basically having a complete laugh with myself if I ever think I would be. So yeah, we're going to get where we need to get. And as you can see, I've already completely rinsed myself, and we are only on number 7 out of 20. That's not me saying click off the video, because it's dragging on, it's taking ages. You'll come to understand my personality, and it's just explaining these things in a way that you'd understand. Maybe this video will be an hour long, maybe it'll be an hour and a half, and I won't cut it, because I am who I am. I'll get better at it as we go on over time, but I'm not trying to make myself look good, if that makes sense. Not at all, not in any way. This isn't really about looking good. It's about inspiration. Okay, so number 8, you've got unclear goals. Yeah, so this is something that's basically a big part of this, because sometimes, and I've watched this on so many videos, nearly every video or podcast or anything that I've listened to or watched about anyone who's actually genuinely successful has said, so many people get stuck in a rut because they wonder why they're not getting where they want to go, but they don't really know where they're aiming or where they want to be. Most people who achieve anything worth talking about, or achieve anything that's like above the norm or the 1% or some kind of success, yeah, or they start a really good business and they scale it to 5-6 figures or something like that, you know, they have a very, very, very clear goal of where they want to come, where they want to be, and then they'll reverse engineer it. So they'll be like, right, if the goal, say, let's take mine for example. So if the goal is to get £5,000 a month consistently, then we go backwards from there, and I'll come to that in more detail later. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. There's another creator as well who says, oh, well, they see someone drive past in a Ferrari, and they say, oh, that's a nice Ferrari, and then back to being distracted or back to TV. Well, no, they don't think about what it actually takes to get that Ferrari. So if you really liked it and you really wanted it, you would go and get it. But people just don't think that way. They think, oh, nice, back to peasant life. No, but I'm not living that life anymore. So, okay, so unclear goals. I'll come back to that in more detail later. Lack of action. So I'm terrible for this. And I do a hell of a lot of action, but I'd say I do it on the wrong things. So there's normally two different ways that you can not succeed. And it's lack of action or lack of knowledge. And I think I've got a bit of both, because I educate myself nearly every day. I literally always learn, always take on new things. I watch the right creators, I watch people who inspire me, I watch people who are more successful than me, and I try and take all of this information in, which I genuinely do. And there's very, very few days where I won't learn anything. I learn something every single day, without fail, systematically without fail, every day, because that's just the way I'm wired. But sometimes I don't put the things I learn into action, so I'll action the wrong things, and maybe sometimes I'll learn the wrong things as well, but they're just not connected. And what it is I need to make my actions match my knowledge. Actions match my knowledge, so I need to learn the right things and then act on them in the right ways, essentially. And that is probably something that's really difficult. And anyone who's struggling, it'll be one of those two problems, basically. Or it'll be both, a mixture of both, like mine. Like, trying, it isn't succeeding, essentially. But I'll get there. And brainstorming really helps with that. Like, instead of just going, oh, here's one idea, let's go all in on it, see if it works. How about we write 10 ideas? Like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to come to this in more detail as well. But what about 10 ideas? So what about the top 10 ideas I can think to start a business? And then I'm going to circle them all off. I'm going to weigh up the pros and cons, the startup cost. My first ones are going to be all low startup cost ones with hopefully high profit margins and things like that. But you can't just, if it was that easy, everyone would do it, wouldn't they? But we'll get there. But yeah, and then break them 10 down into the 5 best ones. And then when you've done that, break them down in more detail and go off and think, wow, whoa, do a bit of research on each one and go into it. Go speak to people who've got those businesses, then break it down to 2, then go and speak to those, then go in more detail, then maybe go as a customer and go through the customer experience with them, and then talk to the people who buy from them, read through the reviews, go in so much detail. And then when you come to your last idea, or your idea that you're actually going to execute, it needs to be the right idea that you've done the right knowledge on, which you'd think that's obvious, but it's not. It's really, really not obvious. So that's a lack of action. Attitude towards hard work. So I've got a good attitude towards hard work, but I really normally have to push myself to do it. I don't mind doing hard work, but I used to tell everyone that I was such a hard worker, especially the last job that I was at. And I was like, yeah, I'm the hardest worker in here, and I do this and I do that, and I'm the most professional, and I'll do it. But the truth was, I genuinely wasn't. Because it'd get to Saturday and I'd go off on the piss or something. Not in the beginning. I got myself really, really good. But once I earned 5k a month, I thought I'd hit the jackpot, and I just thought, right, I've done it now. And it took my eye off the ball and took my foot off the gas, and started enjoying the fruits of my labour way too early. Way too early. If I would have stuck it out with the same dedication that I had in the beginning, I lost the job in the end. Not necessarily because I didn't get sacked or anything, but it wasn't profitable anymore. I made about £500,000 for the company, and probably netted about 30k of it, 32k, something like that. But it just wasn't profitable for the company anymore. I mean, that sounds like a pretty high profit margin, but a lot of that money was made for the company early on, I would say. I just took my eye off the ball, and that held me back. But to be honest, I don't really want to work for somebody else anyway. I want to work with people, not for them. I want to work with businesses. So I'm quite happy that it went the way it went, because I learned so much from it, and I learned a lot about myself as well. And it wasn't like I was getting sacked. It was more like a reflection upon myself. Because one of the things what my boss said to me at the time when he let me go, he said, look, I'd love to work with you again. I still work for that company now, but just in a different role. One of the things he says to me is, he said, Grant, I like you. Which, brilliant. Yeah, nice. That's always good to hear. But I don't know whether he said it just to make me feel better. But he said, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense is a classic sales term. But he didn't say it like that. He said, you always blame somebody else. And I'd never, ever thought of myself as someone who passes the blame. I always thought of myself as someone who was so accountable. And I didn't believe him at the time. I said, no, I don't. It's because of this. It's because of this. It's because they've got it better than me. They've got it easier than me. They've got more opportunity than me. They've got this. They've got that. They've got this. I'm not a recruitment agent. I'm not this. I'm not that. And I basically probably gave him a million reasons why I couldn't do it. And to be honest, I was hungover at the time when I was getting the when I was actually losing the job, and I just dropped the ball so much. And like I say, I still work there now, but I'm not in anything like I was before. Like I say, I got about nearly £5,000. Oh no, well, not after tax, but yeah, it was. I was earning good money. I smashed the commission scheme to bits when I was focused, and did really well. And I just always had somebody else to blame after that, I think. And I think I didn't drink when I started. Because I was going through a period of sobriety, shall we say, very, very focused, similar to what I'm like now. Everything was written out, everything was planned, my day-to-day was there, everything I had to do, I knew when it had to be done and how it had to be done. Smashed it, got the job. As soon as I got the job, got a promotion, went to be a manager, started building my own team, started going through recruitment processes, started getting myself up to earning £5,000 a month. And then it all went. And you know what? I was talking to people and saying, oh yeah, I earned 5k this month, as if I was some kind of big man. And just looking back, it's just such a learning curve and that shows you who you really are. I think it showed me who I really was as well. Not who I know, because sorry about the shaking there. We'll work on that. But it showed me who I didn't want to be, and showed me who I did want to be. And I've probably sulked about it a bit too much, if anything. You know, I've wasted, not months, but I've wasted time coming to the realisation. But it's just a learning curve. I just simply had to just learn who I was and where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And I don't think I want to work for someone. I want to be the product, or I want the product to be a brand, which is a hell of a lot harder than doing a job for someone, because you're always doing it on someone else's terms and someone else's time. But I'd be happy to do the job again if I can get it back. I might get it back one day. Definitely. I will. I need to add something to this list as well. That has just reminded me. You know what, the guy who I worked for, who was my direct chain of command, He was a really clever guy. And I'm not going to mention any names or any companies, but he was a clever guy. And I learned so much from him because he just had a different outlook on everything. Like, you could tell he understood business. Because anything what someone would normally say, he always had a way of flipping it and making it sound different. And it's just a very, very profound character. I learnt a lot from him, and he was great. I doubt he'll ever watch this, but if he does, he'll know who he is. Okay, yeah, so attitude towards hard work. In my head, I was telling myself I did have it, but I think in reality, I didn't. I did at the beginning, but it's not about having it at the beginning, it's about having it every single day. And I can only tell myself that is, it's on me. It's on me, and that's going to be part of this. Okay, number 11, standards. So, my standards. Have you ever asked yourself, what are your standards? Because that's a weird question, isn't it? I know I had a relationship with a girl once. I won't mention any names, like I say, but I had a relationship. And I said to her, what are your standards? Like, not in boyfriends. I mean, what are your standards? You know, what are your not goals, no. But what are your standards? Yeah, what do you stand for? What are your values? And you know what? She couldn't tell me. And this isn't to put anyone down, but it just blew my mind that she had nothing to say. And I just thought, there's literally people walking on this earth that don't know what they stand for, or what their values are, or who they are. Like, if someone asked me that, I could probably reel off too many things, because I think about it too much, if anything, and then I probably need to refine that and focus it down to, like, that this is my standard. But I could tell you my standards on anything. And I think one of her answers was, well, it's obvious, isn't it? No. It's not obvious. Everyone's standards are different. And understanding what my standards are, I let my standards slip sometimes. And the biggest way that I let my standards slip is probably the people I surround myself with, the people that I maintain relationships with. Because, they do say, and that is here, lower down the list, my standards normally slip with the people I spend time with, the way I treat my body, because I'm definitely my body's worst enemy. I'm surprised I am as healthy as I am, because I am actually quite healthy, as far as I'm aware. I'm athletic to some extent. I can run pretty fast. I don't get out of breath too easily. I can box, I can do different things. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet or anything. I'm just saying I'm pretty good. I can lift a bit of weight. I'm 6'3", which does help. But I could definitely be a hell of a lot fitter and a hell of a lot better. So it's the way I treat my body, the people I spend my time with, the food I eat, all different things. I let my standards slip, but it's also my standards of my day-to-day life and my day-to-day living, because remember what we were looking at before, up the top. So these things, if you miss 5 of these, if you don't make your bed, if you don't wash up, if you don't open your curtains, if you don't call the people you were supposed to call, or you text them instead, even though you just wanted a definitive answer there, and then you left the guitar that should have been restrung another day, you didn't have the shave, but then you went on a work call and spoke to someone who was important, and you had all tussly crap around here, or you didn't do your hair, or you didn't actually have the shower, and your hair's sticking up like this, and you just look like a right mess. Standards is about everything you do in life, and it's also about who you say no to, but also who you say yes to, and who you go out your way for, and how you delegate your own time, and what you actually give to people. It's about a hell of a lot. And I know that my standards, especially recently, have been holding me back. I haven't done it yet, and that's going to be part of the journey, but I'm gonna write out all my standards and all my values, because I know the man I am. But sometimes it's easy to forget the man you are, or the woman, obviously, if you are a female, or any of the other genders. I'm not taking the piss now, you know. But yeah, it's yeah, you got to get good standards. Not good standards, just standards that you actually stand by. Because I'd rather stand for something than stand for anything. And I think that is probably the most important part of it. How can I stand? I mean, standing for nothing, having no standards, is terrible. But not knowing what your standards are, like the story I told you, terrible. Standing for too many things or standing for anything, terrible. Like, how can I know what I want in life, who I want to be and where I want to go, or what relationships I want to build if I have no standards? And I think so many men fall into this trap because they think, oh, I'll just go out with anyone because it's a shag. It's it's not good enough. Okay, lack of focus. So this is important, and this is essentially what it links in with the distractions, obviously, but also it links in with the routine. If I don't have a solid set routine, I lose focus, and that's when I end up scrolling and doing something. But if I've got this, and I'm like, right, tomorrow, bam, I'm doing this. I finished it. I shine it in green. Right, next, boom, boom, boom. Okay, nip here, nip there, do this. Right, remember, boom. And I'm going to come to something else, which is actually included within that. But focus comes with routine and distractions, and I'm going to improve that, but it's just a little reminder of something that's certainly holding me back. The opinions of others. Okay, number 13, big one. So this is with YouTube like this, and especially if you've ever tried to start a YouTube channel, it's so hard. Do you know what? I don't care what the people who don't know me, I literally do not give two shoots what they think, because I don't know them. Never gonna see him. What they're gonna say? He was honest, or he's a bum. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bum. Yeah, but at least I'm actively trying to do something about that and proactively putting things in place to actually improve my way of life. So if anything, that should be inspirational to someone similar to me, or someone who's already there. You know, if they started from nothing and got to the top, they'll commend this. But if they started at the top, they'll probably just go, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I don't know. Yeah, but at least I'm trying to do something about it, and I'm trying to share that and inspire others. So that's one thing that I stand for. So there you go. But yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, so the opinions of people I don't know, I don't care about. I would, whether they love me or hate me, it doesn't matter. The opinions that is hard to deal with is the people who are closest to you, or the people who you know, or the people who you went to school with who you haven't seen in 5 years, or your ex-girlfriend, or your ex's brother, or do you know what I mean? It's the people who are closest to you, your childhood friends, because they know you, but they don't know the new version of you. And they kind of just see you as, I don't know. I don't even know if they'd like it, not like it, but it's always those people that you know have watched it, but they haven't commented on it. They haven't pushed you. They haven't tried to help you. They haven't tried to raise awareness. So really, you think to yourself, what are those people's hidden agendas? What do they actually do? Because if they commented on it and says, you know what, well done, or that was embarrassing, but well done for giving it a go, or something like that, or they pushed it, or they shared it, or they just sent me a private message and just says, look, I watched your video, mate, fair play to you for giving it a go, or even constructive criticism. I love constructive criticism. It's my best friend. And even if they just said, do you know what, I thought that was good, this part was good, I got a bit lost on this part, so next time why don't you maybe just try speeding that up, or whereas that video was an hour long, try and condense that with the really important parts and put it into 40 minutes. Also, you could have put a caption on the screen, or you could have put writing at the top or something, or you could have put yourself a little watermark in the corner, or anything. constructive criticism, but people don't want to see people win. The majority of people I know, and I don't know whether it's because I've always been around the lower echelons of society, because I've never broken out of it, nobody wants to see me win. And I would say that I want to see everybody else win. I want to see my friends win. I want to see my family win. I want to see people get big wins. I want to see people make money. I want to be proud of them. I want to do all those things. I want to jump on the bandwagon and go up to the stars with them. But nobody reciprocates that. And if I saw one of my friends starting a business, I'd be the first one. If it was a coffee shop, for example, I'd be the first one to go down there, grab a coffee, say, well done, mate, share it on Facebook, do whatever, and just share it on YouTube and just put my absolute best into it and tell them, you know what, I think it's a great thing that you started this business, well done. I've had a business in the past, a guitar shop, like I said, and multiple studios and different things, and it's bloody hard. So, but the problem with my first businesses, because I've had a few failed businesses, to be fair, but you're never going to succeed on your first business anyway. But the problem with my first businesses was I was in low income businesses, and where you just got absolutely smashed by the online competition. Like, I'm trying to sell guitars and compete with PMT, who have got way more range, can probably do it for cheaper. And the footfall was down, internet had come. It was a low income thing and then I lost a contact with one of my suppliers and it just went tits up. And that's just the way it is. It's just the way business goes. Not every business is going to succeed. And because I'm going to change directions here, right? And I can almost... Sorry, I'm going to systematically guarantee you that the first business I choose here will probably fail. And I know it will. But the thing is, I'm not going to let it get me down, because I'm already expecting it to fail before I've gone into it, because now my mindset's in the right place. Okay, so the opinions of others, I need to forget about that completely and think, I'm doing this for me. I don't care what you think. I don't care if it's the people closest to me or whatever. I don't care if they say, oh, well, why do you have to write this to just do the basics? No, because everyone works differently, and this is what works for me, and it might not necessarily work for anybody else. You can see on the left here, this is just some things about even resetting my iPad. I to remind myself, even setting up Photoshop, even just like planning content and things. I have to write lists and set myself and set things, otherwise I will not succeed. And maybe you're the same as me, maybe you're different to me. Look, even this for my son, buy nappies. I have to remind myself, because that's just the way it is. And when I do, I perform at an extremely high level. I'll do it and then I won't be consistent with that, or I won't read it in the morning. And this is just literally about being consistent and getting this up every single morning, so I've at least got a chance to succeed. And that's it. Okay, so number 14, lack of visual aid. So yeah, you'll probably notice a picture there, some things hanging on the wall. This is my mum's place, I'll be honest. That's another thing that I'll admit to you right now. I'm back at my mum's because a few things went tits up. I don't want to get too personal with it, but I'm at a point where I'm blaming every part of this on myself. So let's just say it was my fault. I'll be the bigger man. But yeah, I don't mind that. But yeah, essentially visual aids. I was reminiscing then about the crap times. But yeah, I'm going to get whiteboards everywhere. Now, I'm going to have whiteboard. You can't see the rest of the room on this video. I don't want to move the camera because it'll make it look bad quality. But if you wake up in a room that's just a bare wall, or is just a room that you don't think about, do you think you'd be more or less productive? Or a computer screen like this in front of me here that you have to turn on? Or if I write in colourful bold letters on the wall, business terms, business ideas, brainstorming for businesses, as soon as I wake up, because the bed's right there, as soon as I wake up in the morning, boom, first thing I see, I'm already locked in. Oh yeah, I remember that idea. Boom, yeah, I was thinking about that. Straight on here, blah, blah, blah. There's 2 screens behind. But yeah, that is a visual aid is something that's really, really helpful for me. And sometimes I'll probably still walk past that and not read it, but there's a hell of a lot more chance. I'll put one on the door. So every time I walk past it, I see it. And it's just, visual aid will help me massively. And plus the actual writing of it in the first place makes things go into your brain. And it just like, it's more of like an academic setting as well. I'm not massive on academia. I never went to university, but I did well in school and college. But then I went straight into starting my own business. I used to think that the whole university thing was just a rip-off. And they were just getting you in debt for teaching you old tricks or old outdated information, which wasn't actually going to benefit me. Unless you go into like medicine or something. I think that probably is still the case, or it's especially the opinion of some people. But then there's others who would never live without that. So yeah, I mean, it can be great for some. I'm not knocking anyone that's gone to university who's got a good career out of it. Fair play to you, especially if you're financially free, which I bet is few and far between, but it is possible, especially if you go into coding or something, which we're going to talk about. Okay, scrolling and social media. I think that one speaks for itself, doesn't it? So I want to create content, not consume content. So if you've got this far into this video, you are consuming content, but at least you're consuming content which is about benefiting your life. Fair play to you. And that's the content I wish to consume. Or at least you're watching me benefit my life, which might inspire you to even do 1% of this, which might help you. You know what I mean? What I don't like is consuming content that literally does not benefit me in any way. It's just clickbait crap. You see it all over the place, and sometimes I'll be watching something like apps can send you down these rabbit holes and fool you, and you just like, I've just wasted an hour of my life on some fucking chick that I don't even like or even know, or like she's like in America somewhere talking bollocks that I don't care about. No, I'm not doing that anymore at all. Essentially, I've not scrolled crap on Facebook once today. But it's about being consistent with it, which is this is episode 1, day 1, by the way. So bear with us. Maybe if you're just like joining the channel now, then you'll be here right from the very, very, very start of this financial freedom thing. And I'm going to be a lot more consistent with these videos than I am with the other sides of the channels. Like in time, the down to earth, I haven't really explained it in this video, but there's Down to Earth, which is about people who are down to earth, helping community and nature, and then there's Driven to Explore, which is about traveling and becoming location free. Those 2 things are probably going to be like twice a month, and there's going to be a lot more and a lot more editing that goes into them. Maybe it'll even be once a month, one for each or something, I don't know, but this is going to be every single day. I'm not saying there'll be an upload every single day, because it might take me a little while to actually have enough content to come and say to you, but it's not going to require all the editing. I'm literally just going to say what's on my mind, say what I've done for that day, and show you the progress every day. And that's it. And like, maybe I'll explain it. Maybe I'll waffle on. Maybe you've enjoyed this, maybe you haven't, but I can guarantee you, if you are still here at 1 hour and 5 minutes in, I will cut it down a little bit, so you might not be quite that far on the video, but if you're still here now, then you must be somewhat interested in what I'm saying, or I must have captured your attention in some way. So if you are, subscribe. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, scrolling social media, fuck that. Same with Netflix, same with TV. Yeah, so I put number 16, watching TV. The only time I'm ever going to watch TV is simply if it's educational. Other than that, I'm not interested. Sugar, bad food, terrible for this. And you wonder why I crash and have bad moods and different things like that, especially sugar. I've not had any sugar today, and I haven't eaten the best, but it's just because I'm in a bit of a lower financial situation at the minute, so I'm just sort of eating what I can, which I know is crap, but it's like cheap pot noodles and crap like that, and £1.50 pizzas, which isn't ideal, but I've got a bit of money, tiny bit, and I'm going to go shopping and get some proper nutritious food with protein and different things like that, and just try and treat my body a little bit better this week, which I've always done that, to be fair. Ever since I was young now, I'll do meal preps, and I do eat really, really good food, to be fair. Better than pretty much anyone I know, because I like to treat my body right. But the problem with me is I treated my body so wrong that I have to do that to balance it out. But to be honest, I'd be really, really fit if I didn't do all the drinking and smoking and stuff. So hopefully you'll probably see me, like, say if you watch this video and then you watch another video in 6 months' time, I'll probably look a lot better if I stick to all this. Or shall we say when I stick to all this. Pornography? I'm not massive on it, to be fair. But I have watched it, and especially when I'm hungover, day after a night out or something. It's embarrassing to talk about. It's a bit of a taboo subject, but I ain't doing it, and I ain't watching it. Simple as that. Okay, number 20 of what's holding me back. No, sorry, number 19 of what's holding me back. Relationships. So yeah, there's some real negative relationships in my life, and I think I've attached onto them. Especially, I think like I've got a really weird thing in my brain. This is going to be a weird thing to voice now, but I'm going to be honest with you because I've been honest about everything else. I kind of like still think about every ex-girlfriend that I've ever had in my whole life, and there's been quite a few of them, right? So this is like a really weird thing, and I have like this weird attachment in my mind, like I can never let go of them. But it's not just girlfriends either, it's friends or bandmates is a terrible one. Like I get like such the bad repetitive syndrome that just sort of like drills into me, and I think about them and they just pop into my mind, and then I think about them too much, maybe end up getting obsessive. Not obsessive, like not in a weird way or anything, but it's just like I think about them, and sometimes they influence the way that I act and the way that I do things, and then sometimes it goes really bad, like if I drink and go too far and then I end up messaging one of them or something. But it's just because like there's certain people that I just can never seem to get off my mind. There's certain people that I don't care about at all, but some people I really can't get them out of my head, and I think it holds me back. It definitely holds me back, and I think that's the first time I've ever actually said that out loud, to be honest. But it's weird. Like sometimes I think of girlfriends that I had when I was like 14, 15, 16, 20, 22, 28, you know, different ones. Even not, I don't do it as much anymore, but I think that the people who influenced my life when I was younger, and maybe had a big, but they've all been failed relationships or failed friendships. But I think I give them too much weight, and I think I'm gonna have to do some research as to why that actually happens. But I certainly think it's something that holds me back. Because normally, I assume, I don't know if everyone does that or if there's someone else that does that, but I assume that most people will have a girlfriend, break up with her, feels terrible, move on, another one, break up with her, feels terrible, move on, or didn't really care about that one, move on. But like they grow up and they move on. I just seemed like 10%, 5%, 2%, whatever it might be, there's a small percentage of my brain that's somehow still attached that I need to let go. That holds me back. If you still experience that or something, just like let me know, because I don't know if I'm just weird. But it's also bandmates. So I have been in bands for years, and it seems like the bandmates ones hurts even more than the girlfriend ones. Like I've probably been in at least between 8 to 10 different bands, and like when they split up, you put so much into them, so much, everything. But it's not even like 2 people in a couple, it's normally 4 people or 5 people, and you're all putting everything in. There's normally one slacking off somewhere who hasn't got the fucking energy to actually, or even the drive or anything to actually put any real effort in or do any marketing or social media. There's always one, or who doesn't want to have any say. He just does it because he likes drumming. That's not a dig at anyone. It's just like a general drummer thing. But yeah, it hurts more with the bands. Especially if it's like you and the main guy who you were doing it with. You were the songwriters, you were getting the gigs, you were doing everything. You spoke to each other probably every day for years. And then you fall out or it's gone. It's that hurts more, I think, than even a relationship. Which is weird. And a lot of people who are in bands, who, especially original bands, cover bands, you're never really that bothered about because you could just go join another cover band. And I've never really been into cover bands. I've always done original bands. And there's been normally some element of songwriting by me in every band I've ever been in, bar one, that I was a lead guitarist for. So, yeah, it's weird, that one. And normally there's two main people that drive a band. And when they break up, like, this isn't specifically about anyone. This has happened literally like 4 times in my life, and every single time it really hurts. And yeah, I don't even know how I got onto this. This isn't even about business, but I'm just giving you a bit of a backstory of who I am and what's holding me back. And it's still thinking about those relationships, and then thinking about what I do moving forward. Will they watch it? There's another story which I won't even tell you as well, but those two things crossed over, but we won't even go there. Right, okay. See, this is it. Like, forget. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you here is I need to, and if you're in the same position, you need to just forget about everything and kill them with success, because that's the only place I'm going. Right. Accountability. It's an important one. Okay, so throughout this journey now, I am setting myself, that's why I said earlier it's my fault, but yeah, I'm setting myself accountable for everything. Not only everything that's ever happened in my life, including success and including downfalls, everything that happens moving forward. I'm never, ever, ever going to say, unless it genuinely was like somebody crashed a car or something, well, obviously it was their fault, they were driving. Sorry if you saw the frame rate change a bit there, but if you got to this point in the video, then I'm sure you won't be worried about that, because yeah, the quality will be getting better. We'll be upgrading all this setup. You won't see a diagonal thing above. There'll be like a light behind me. There'll be a light in front of me. All this is going to get better, and we've got a better camera coming. I'm actually doing this on an iPad, and it's only going to get better. But yeah, I'm accountable. It's my fault. No ifs, ands, buts, or questions about it. And that's as simple as it's going to be. Otherwise, I give the power to other people. And number 21, which I added today, reminded me from my old boss, is driving. So I've had a pretty bad relationship with driving throughout the years. And because I've had a bad relationship with alcohol, so as you can imagine, alcohol and driving don't mix, do they? At all. I'm just going to be honest with you. I was very foolish when I was younger. I did drink drive a couple of times. I ended up getting banned, and yeah, I was just, it is what it is. So really, this being episode 1, you've learned a lot about me, haven't you? You've learned all my downfalls and all my issues, and to be honest, I kind of had to do this for episode 1. I had to, because if I don't get every single sales or business entrepreneur guru or everything that I've watched says you've got to break down on step 1 what's holding you back. And maybe I've gone into a bit more too much detail with it, and probably overshared if possible, but I don't do all them every day. Do you know what I mean? That's just the things that have held me back and are and do continue to hold me back. Maybe I'll do one week, another week, another week, and then I'll fall into a trap of this and this and this. And to be honest, I just know and I'll be hyper focused one day and have zero focus the next because I won't be eating the right things. Then I'll drop some sugar, then I'll go out for a few pints with my mates, forget what I was even doing, then I don't even really know what my realistic goals are, and then I wake up the next day depressed because I'm not reaching them, but I don't even know what they are. So step one is understanding what was holding me back, and that is it basically. There was a few more things that I wanted to talk about. And I'll tell you exactly what we're going to go over next time, which is who's to blame? Me, but we're going to delve in. Clear goals. So who's to blame is obviously me, that's a quick one, right? But it's just about taking accountability and understanding that everything is my fault. The reason I'm not rich today is my fault. And the reason I've lost probably £200,000 in the last 10 years and pissed it all down the drain is also my fault. The reason I didn't invest that money is my fault. And the reason that my son doesn't have a house bought and paid for right now to this day is my fault. So, you know, I take accountability and I take blame, and that's the first stage. So next time we're going to be setting clear goals. We're going to be delving in a little bit deeper on the actual business that we're going to do. We're going to be talking about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel and ignoring how you feel. And essentially, it's about what's required, not about, oh, I don't feel happy today. No one successful ever cared about how they felt, essentially. Maximising time, having a clear schedule, like a business, turning up on time, waking up at the right time, and it's about starting and never stopping. So we're starting. So join me on the journey. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make some money. And we're going to put a time on it. So we want 5k a month. Reckon we can do it by Christmas? Let's say New Year's Day. Let's aim to be at 5k a month by New Year's Day consistently. That means we need to have hit it at least 2 months on the trot by New Year's Day. And if we're not there, that's a big ask, that is. But I've done it before. I've done it in 3 months before. And here we've got 7, 8, 9 months. Yeah. That is 100% doable. I've done it before in 3 months. I can do it again. Especially with all the tools and the knowledge and everything that I've got now. So join me. Let's make some money. And I will literally be back every step of the way. And I'm telling you, we're going to do it. I don't care what anyone thinks, what anyone says. You can comment on this video saying, see you in the pub next week, like I've had before. I don't care. If you want to be positive and you want to help me, or I've inspired you, or you want to jump on this with me, or you're local to either Stoke-on-Trent or Derby, and you want to meet up and have a chat in person, let's do it. Because I need like-minded people around me. I need to expand and advance my circles and start talking to people who actually think about these things, think about entrepreneurship, and think about business, and think about money, and think about, you know, creating brands, think about branding, think about Photoshop, thinking about how can we make money, thinking about stocks, investments, ISAs, crypto. The world's your oyster. But the majority, nobody I know thinks about any of this stuff. So if you do, then please hit me up. And especially if you're into going to the gym as well, because I need positive reinforcements and friends around me and start creating some better circles. So we'll go to the gym, we'll talk money, we'll eat good food, we'll drink water, we'll hydrate, and that's it. I'm not begging for friendship because I'm going to do this on a very lonely journey, to be fair. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and it wasn't built by one person either. So if you're looking for someone similar to what you've heard today, let's do it. If not, I'll see you on episode 2 when we start creating clear goals and start breaking down and getting a little bit closer to the niches and businesses that we're actually going to attack. So let's do it.